Good morning, students. We continue with the explanation of the story, The Happy Prince. In my last lecture, I had stopped at the place where one good deed has been done by the Happy Prince with the help of the swallow. Now, let's see further what happens. When the moon rose, he flew back to the Happy Prince. "Have you any commissions for Egypt?" he cried. "I am just starting." So he asked whether you have any important work to give me for, because I am going to Egypt. "Swallow, swallow, little swallow," said the prince. "Will you stay with me for one night longer?" "I am waited for in Egypt," answered the swallow. So he said, the fellow birds are waiting for me in Egypt. Allow me to go. It's going to be winter over here. It's going to be very cold over here. Just allow me to go. "Swallow, swallow, little swallow," said the prince. "Far away across the city, I see a young man in a garret." Now, the word garret over here means a top floor attic room in a very sad condition. That means that person doesn't have much with him. That means the condition of the room is also pathetic. He is leaning over a desk covered with papers, and in the glass by his side there is a bunch of withered violets. The withered violets over here are the dead and the decaying flowers. Now he is leaning over, that means he's put his head on the desk over there, and he's got papers lying here and there, and he's got a glass. He doesn't even have a vase to keep the flowers, the withered away ones. So the withered away ones have been kept in a glass. His hair is brown and crisp, and his lips are red as a pomegranate, and he has large and dreamy eyes. Now the description of his physical stature says that he is very cold. That means he is suffering cold over there. He is not getting enough of warmth. Pomegranate, I know everybody knows it's a fruit. So his lips are as red as the pomegranate because of the cold. He is trying to finish a play for the director of the theatre, but it is too cold to write any more. So he is a playwright. That means he is a person who writes plays. So he was supposed to write for a director of a theatre, but because it's very, very cold, he is not able to write. There is no fire in the grate, and the hunger has made him faint. Now the grate is actually the metallic frame, the iron metallic frame which holds the fuel. In this case, the fuel is the firewood. So he says there is no fire over there. Might be he doesn't have money to buy firewood. So he says that there is no fire, and the hunger has already made him weak, and he has fainted because of it. "I will wait with you one night longer," said the swallow, who really had a good heart. He asked if he should take another ruby to the young playwright. As I just said, playwright is a person who writes plays, who writes the dialogues of a play and the acts and the scenes. Now this bird is a very good-hearted bird, so it readily agrees, saying that because it's for such a good cause, so I will stay with you. "Alas, I have no ruby now," because the ruby he had given it to the prior, to the person who was embroidering, to the lady who was in need earlier in the story. He has given away the ruby. "My eyes are all that I have left. They are made of rare sapphires which were brought out of India 1,000 years ago." So all good things were brought from India only. So he says, "Now that I don't have ruby, I had only a single ruby on my body. I have two sapphires which are my eyes. You can pluck one of them and then go and give it to her." So because they are rare, they will be they are very expensive, and that person can earn good amount of money, deal of money from that by selling that thing. He ordered the swallow to pluck out one of them and take it to the playwright. "He will sell it to the jeweler and buy firewood and finish his play," he said. "Dear prince," said the swallow, "I cannot do that," and he began to weep. "How can you pluck off somebody's eyes? Because with those eyes only he is able to see the misery around in his kingdom." "Swallow, swallow, little swallow," said the prince, "do as I command you." So he says, just do it, and because I am telling you to do it. So the swallow plucked out the prince's eye and flew away to the young man's garret. It was easy enough to get in, as there was a hole in the roof. As it is, it was very cold, there was a hole in the roof, there was no firewood, that's why this person was not able to write. Through this he darted and came into his room. Darted, the word darted over here means a sudden movement of, like a rapid movement of somebody or something in a direction. So through that hole, the bird came inside the room. The young man had his head buried in his hands, so he did not hear the flutter of the bird's wings. And when he looked up, he found the beautiful sapphire lying on the withered violets. This man was in such a sad state that because he had buried his head like this in his hands, because of the cold and the starvation, he couldn't even pay attention to the flutter of the wings, the sound which the wings made when the bird had come. But when the bird went away, he just noticed the sapphire lying in the withered violets over there. And beginning to be appreciated, he cried, "This is from some admirer. Now I can finish my play." And he looked quite happy. So he thinks that the sapphire has been sent by a person who admires his writing skills, and then he says that was a boost for him, that he just got up with a jerk and he said that I can finish this play, so let me do justice to it. The next day the swallow flew down to the harbour. Harbour is a seaside seashore place where the ships come and they get loaded and unloaded over there. So there he goes. He sat on the mast of a large vessel and watched the sailors working. Now, this bird did not have anything much to do, so he sat there and he was mast, as I had already told you, the huge piece of cloth which gives direction to a particular sailing vessel. "I am going to Egypt," cried the swallow, but nobody minded. And when the moon rose, he flew back to the happy prince. So he was so happy that he is going to Egypt. He was going on declaring, but nobody was interested in his declaration. "I have come to bid you goodbye," he cried. "Swallow, swallow, little swallow," said the prince, "will you not stay with me for one night longer?" Now this guy had got, Happy Prince has got one more job for Swallow. Let's see whether he agrees to it or not. "It is winter," answered the swallow, "and the snow will soon be here. In Egypt the sun is warm on the green palm trees, and the crocodiles lie in the mud and look lazily about them." So he says, now these are the lures, these are the attractions which are actually calling the bird to itself, the place. Egypt is warm and this particular place is going to go colder, the city which we are talking about, where the Happy Prince is mounted. He says that it's going to be cold over here. I am thinking about the lush green palm trees over there, and the crocodiles just lazing around, doing nothing, basking in the sun. "It has been in the square below," said the Happy Prince, "there stands a little match girl." So there's another job assigned to him. He says, there's a match girl. Match girl is a girl who sells matchsticks. She has let her matches fall in the gutter. Like accidentally, her matchsticks fell in the gutter. And they all spoiled. Once a matchstick gets wet, it's all spoiled. They will not burn again. Her father will beat her if she does not bring some money back home. And she is crying. She has no shoes or stockings, and her little head is bare. So it's cold, and she doesn't have shoes, she doesn't have stockings over there, she doesn't have a cap to wear. Pluck out my other eye and give it to her, and her father will not beat her. So he's got only one eye now, the Happy Prince, and he says, pluck out this one also and give it to that little girl. "I will stay with you one night longer," said the swallow, "but I cannot pluck out your eye. You would be blind then. You'd be quite blind." And he says, like, definitely if I'm going to pluck out both the eyes, you won't be able to see a thing around you. "Swallow, swallow, little swallow," said the prince, "do as I command you." So he plucked out the prince's other eye and darted down with it. He swooped past the match girl and slipped the jewel into the palm of her hand. Swooped past him with a rapid movement, he just descended and he just placed the jewel in her hand, in the palm, and he flew away. "What a lovely bit of glass." She's thinking it's a bit of glass wherein it's a sapphire, cried the little girl, and she ran home laughing. Then the swallow came back to the prince. "You are blind now," he said. so I will stay with you always. Now the little bird has changed its mind. So it says now, you blind now, I'll stay with you forever after, because I cannot abandon you because you can't see a thing. No, little swallow, said the poor prince, you must go away to Egypt. No, I will stay with you always, said the swallow. And he slept at the princess' feet. So the bird is now determined that it is going to stay with the happy prince throughout his life, because he actually has given away the sapphires and the ruby. The ruby didn't matter much because it was in the sword, but the sapphires mattered more because they were his eyes, and still he was so selfless, he just gave it away to them. Now this cause was good enough a reason for the bird to stay with him and declare that I am going to stay and serve you throughout my life now. I am going to stay with you only. What happens in the rest of the story, I will be completing it in my next lecture. Thank you, dear.